There's a doorway to wealth sitting quietly at the front of your home, and every day you pass through it without realizing it could be either pulling prosperity in or silently pushing it away. I'm talking about your front gate, not just a fence opening or a welcome mat for visitors, but the very first point where energy, opportunities, and fortune decide whether to enter your life or move on. In many ways, that entrance is like the neck of a bottle. If it's clear, open, and supported by the right presence, abundance flows in easily. If it's blocked, heavy, or surrounded by the wrong elements, that flow slows to a drip. And here's the truth most people overlook. The trees you plant at your gate can decide which future you live in. The right tree can stand as a silent guardian, filtering out chaos from the street, welcoming good energy, and quietly holding onto your financial blessings for years to come. The wrong one can drain that same fortune before it even reaches your door. Imagine stepping out in the morning and seeing deep green leaves that feel like they're shielding you from the rush of the outside world. Or walking back at dusk under soft blossoms that seem to whisper that good news is coming. These are not just plants. They're living symbols of stability, progress, and the kind of peace that lets wealth settle in and stay. Over the next few minutes, I'll take you through the most powerful prosperity trees you can plant at your front gate, each chosen for its ability to invite abundance, protect what you've earned, and keep the path between your life and your fortune wide open. If you've ever wondered why money feels like it slips away as soon as it arrives, or why success seems to stop right before your doorstep, this might be the missing piece. Part 1: The Gate, where money first steps in. Stand for a moment at your front gate or the walkway that leads into your home. It's easy to see it as nothing more than a place to come and go, a transition from public to private. But in reality, it's far more than that. That opening is the first handshake your home gives to the world, the very first moment where energy, impressions, and opportunities decide whether they are going to cross your threshold or turn away. Think about the last time you arrived home after a long day. Did you feel a lift in your mood as you approached your entrance, or did something about it feel heavy, cluttered, or uninviting? That subtle feeling matters more than you think. Your gate is like a filter. It's where the outside world decides what to leave behind and what to bring in. And the truth is, the way you set up that space, especially the living elements that frame it, can shape the flow of good fortune into your life. A gate that feels open, balanced, and alive says to the world, this is a place worth blessing. A gate that feels blocked, chaotic, or lifeless can just as easily turn those blessings away. This isn't about superstition. It's about the very real impact our surroundings have on our state of mind, our decisions, and the way others engage with us. The entrance is the first impression not just for visitors, but for opportunities. The colors, shapes, and even the air that greets you there set a tone that follows you inside. If it feels cared for, nature responds in kind. A well-kept, thoughtfully designed entryway has a way of attracting people who bring value, connections that open doors, and situations that support growth. But neglect that space, and you may notice the opposite. Plans stall, momentum fades, and things feel harder than they should. Nowhere is this more visible than in the choice of what grows there. A tree at your gate isn't just decorative. It's a living partner in how energy moves toward your home. The right tree becomes a sentinel, standing day and night to soften the harshness of the street, to slow down the rush of the outside world, to keep the atmosphere at your doorway calm, clear, and ready to receive. It's like having a trusted friend whose only job is to make sure what enters your life is worth having. The wrong plant, on the other hand, can have the opposite effect, casting shadows that feel oppressive, crowding the entrance so that nothing flows smoothly, or even projecting an energy that subconsciously signals stay away. And here's something important. Your front gate works both ways. It's not only about what comes in, it's also about what stays. Many people work hard, earn well, and still feel like money slips away faster than it arrives. Sometimes it's not about the paycheck at all. It's about the environment you return to. If your entryway feels unsettled, if it fails to hold onto the calm and security you need, your energy mirrors that pattern. You might make decisions too quickly, miss small but important details, or feel restless without knowing why. But when your gate is framed by something alive, steady, and well-placed, it changes your pace before you even set foot inside. You slow down without trying. You breathe a little deeper. You notice the way the light falls. That shift in mindset is exactly what allows you to make better choices, to see opportunities more clearly, and to hold onto the gains you've worked for. The gate is where that process starts. If you've ever walked into a home where the entrance felt instantly warm and welcoming, you've experienced how powerful that first step can be. The atmosphere wraps around you, telling you that you're safe here, that you can let your guard down. Now imagine if your own gate could do that, not just for guests, but for you every single day. That's why the choice of what lives beside it matters. The right tree doesn't just decorate the space, it partners with you to keep that space aligned with your goals. It quietly encourages abundance to come in and gives it reasons to stay. Before you think about anything else in your home, start here. Look at it as if you've never seen it before and ask yourself, does this space invite prosperity to take the first step in, or does it let it walk on by? Part 2, the guardians that welcome prosperity. Before we meet them one by one, imagine this. Your front gate is a stage, and every element on it plays a role in the story of your home. Some stand in the background, unnoticed, while others command presence the moment you arrive. The guardians we're about to talk about are not just trees. They are silent characters in your life, shaping the way energy, opportunity, and wealth approach you. Each has a personality, a strength, and a way of holding your prosperity in place. The right one can change the tone of your entire home from the outside in. The treasure keeper dwarf coconut tree. You notice it first for its shape, sturdy, rounded, and almost impossibly full, as if nature had designed it to store something valuable. The trunk rises from the soil like a sealed golden jar, smooth and strong, holding the quiet weight of security. In the same way a safe in your home guards your most precious belongings, this tree stands at your gate to guard your financial stability. Its rounded base, firm to the touch, gives the impression that it has been holding onto blessings for decades and has no intention of letting them slip away. Each frond unfurls gracefully, spreading outward like open palms, not to give away what's yours, but to catch every good thing headed in your direction. When the wind moves through them, they sway in a rhythm that feels unhurried, as if to say, here nothing is rushed. Here abundance has time to settle. Placing a dwarf coconut tree at your gate is like giving your home a natural reservoir for prosperity. It doesn't promise sudden windfalls or dramatic overnight change. Instead, it offers something far more valuable: consistency. In a world where incomes fluctuate and markets shift, this tree works quietly in the background, making sure what you have stays with you. Homeowners often describe how the space around it feels cooler, as if the air itself has been filtered and softened. That coolness is more than comfort. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always have to come with pressure or heat. Sometimes the most secure abundance is the one that feels calm. Walk past it on a summer morning, and you'll notice how the light catches the curve of its trunk, creating a soft glow that makes it seem almost alive with gold from within. Stand near it in the evening, and you might catch the faint scent of earth and water, the smell of something that has been grounded for years, unshaken by passing storms. That groundedness is part of what makes the dwarf coconut tree such a powerful presence. You may not see its work in the day-to-day, but over time you'll feel it, like realizing that your savings have grown quietly or that opportunities seem to last longer when they arrive. But for all its strength, the dwarf coconut tree also teaches a simple truth about prosperity. It must be protected. Just as you wouldn't leave a safe open or a vault unguarded, this tree needs care to do its job well. Keep the soil loose and well drained, because stagnant water can weigh down its energy just as easily as it can harm its roots. Never scar or damage the trunk. In symbolism and in spirit, that's your treasure chest. Any crack, no matter how small, is a leak in your fortune. Give it space to breathe, avoiding crowded placement that forces its fronds to brush against the walkway, blocking the easy flow of energy. If you've ever struggled with the feeling that money arrives only to disappear just as quickly, the dwarf coconut tree offers a shift. It says, "Let what comes in have a place to rest." It changes the rhythm of your home's energy from constant chase to steady keep. And when you return home after a long day, seeing it standing there, fronds wide, trunk solid, you're reminded that abundance is not just about more, it's about enough, kept and cared for. In that quiet reassurance, your gate becomes more than an opening. It becomes the doorway to a life where wealth is not just earned, but preserved. The silent prophet freshwater mangrove. There's a reason people stop mid-step when they pass a freshwater mangrove in full bloom. From a distance, it looks almost unassuming, slender branches, leaves that move with the breeze. But when the blossoms appear, everything changes. Crimson petals hang in delicate clusters, and as they loosen, they drift downward in a slow, graceful fall, layering the ground like a velvet carpet. In that moment, it feels as though the tree has chosen to speak, not with words, but with a vision so vivid you can't mistake its meaning. Something good is on the horizon. The freshwater mangrove doesn't bloom on demand. It doesn't give its beauty away to fill a schedule or meet an expectation. It waits. And when it blooms, it's never random. Homeowners who live with one will tell you the same thing, that its blossoms tend to arrive when the home is in a state of balance. Arguments have quieted. Projects have reached turning points. Stress has eased just enough for hope to find a foothold. It's as if the tree is watching, sensing the atmosphere, and deciding the time is right to signal a new chapter. That's why I call it the silent prophet. It speaks without noise. Its message is simple but powerful. Harmony brings opportunity, and opportunity thrives where harmony stays. The visual impact alone makes this clear. Under the morning sun, each blossom catches the light, glowing as though it's lit from within, creating small points of brightness against the deeper green of its leaves. From the street, it's impossible not to notice. From the gate, it feels like a personal welcome. And if you're the one walking toward it, that soft, radiant glow can shift your mood before you've even turned the key in the door. Planting a freshwater mangrove at your gate isn't just about aesthetics. It's about creating a living reminder that prosperity often arrives quietly and takes root when the environment is ready for it. The blossoms don't crash into your life with fanfare. They appear like whispers, encouraging you to notice the good that's already on its way. They remind you to prepare, not in a hurried, anxious way, but in the calm, steady manner of someone who knows they are about to welcome something valuable. In practical terms, this tree offers more than just beauty. Its presence softens the view from the street, creating a subtle barrier that keeps the energy at your gate from feeling exposed. The leaves filter sunlight into dappled patterns that shift through the day, giving your entrance a sense of life and movement without chaos. And because it doesn't bloom constantly, every flowering feels like an event, one that you, your family, and even your guests can't help but notice. Those rare, special moments build an association in your mind. When this tree blooms, something good is happening. Over time, that association becomes self-reinforcing, shaping your outlook and even your decisions. You begin to look for good news instead of expecting setbacks. You plan for positive outcomes instead of bracing for the worst. Caring for a freshwater mangrove is part of the partnership. It thrives best when it has room to stretch its roots and enough sunlight to keep its leaves healthy, but not so much direct exposure that the soil dries out completely. Think of it the way you'd think of maintaining a valued relationship. It needs consistent attention, not constant interference. Water it well, keep the base free of clutter, and watch for signs that it's ready to bloom. When those first buds appear, you'll feel the anticipation build, and that anticipation is part of its gift. It draws your focus forward, toward what's coming, instead of letting it linger on what's already passed. Some people call this tree a living calendar of fortune. Not the kind that counts days or marks holidays, but one that tracks the deeper seasons of your life. When the blooms arrive, they seem to mark the start of an invisible spring, a time when opportunities feel fresh and momentum builds naturally. When the branches are bare of blossoms, it's not a loss. It's a reminder that growth is happening quietly out of sight, preparing for the next unveiling. Imagine coming home late in the afternoon and seeing those crimson petals under your feet, glowing faintly in the golden light of dusk. You push the gate open, and the soft rustle of the leaves follows you in. You may not know exactly what's on the way, but you feel it. You carry that feeling into the house, into your conversations, into the way you plan your next moves. The freshwater mangrove doesn't just decorate your entrance. It changes the way you step into your life. And maybe that's the truest measure of its value. Prosperity isn't always a sudden check in the mail or a dramatic career leap. Often, it's the steady accumulation of good moments, right timing, and the ability to recognize and use them when they arrive. This tree, with its quiet patience and perfectly timed bursts of beauty, models that truth for you every season it lives at your gate. The Quiet Gatekeeper rubber fig tree. Some guardians protect with noise and warning, but the most effective ones do their work in silence. The rubber fig tree is that kind of guardian. It doesn't demand attention with bright flowers or dramatic shapes. Instead, it holds its post with quiet strength, day after day, season after season, turning your front gate into a place of stability and calm before you even step inside. Its leaves are thick, glossy, and deep green, catching the light like polished shields. When the wind moves through them, the sound isn't a rattle or a hiss. It's a low, steady whisper, as if the tree is conferring with the air itself about what should be allowed through and what should be kept out. That's the essence of the rubber fig tree, a living filter deciding which energies pass and which are turned away. Placed at your gate, it becomes the first line of defense against the chaos of the outside world. If your home faces a busy street, a sharp intersection, or constant foot traffic, you know how the noise and movement can follow you inside, even when you close the door. The rubber fig stands there, rooted and resolute, slowing that current before it crosses your threshold. It's not about building a wall, it's about creating a buffer, a space where the frantic pace of life loses its edge, so that what reaches you is softer, more manageable, more in tune with the kind of life you want to lead. Walk toward it after a long day and you'll notice the shift. The air under its canopy feels cooler, the light more diffuse. The street behind you seems just a little farther away. That's no accident. Those thick leaves aren't just beautiful, they are natural absorbers, taking in dust, softening glare, and even cleansing the air you breathe as you step into your home. In that sense, the rubber fig isn't just guarding your prosperity, it's creating the conditions for you to enjoy it. Because what good is wealth if your mind is scattered and your spirit is unsettled? Its steady presence also works in subtler ways. The shape and color of the rubber fig tree project an unspoken message. This is a place of order. People feel it when they approach, even if they can't name it. The symmetry of the leaves, the way they layer over each other without crowding, the upright trunk, all of it signals stability. In the language of impressions, that stability matters. It affects the way guests see your home, the way business associates feel when they visit, even the way you carry yourself when you leave in the morning. Caring for a rubber fig tree isn't complicated, but it's important. It likes bright, indirect light and steady moisture without being waterlogged. Give it space to grow so its canopy can do its job fully. Don't tuck it into a corner where it can't spread. Keep the leaves clean and free of dust so they can keep performing their quiet work. Think of it less as a plant and more as a partner that needs a clear view to watch over your entrance. There's also a deeper, more personal connection you can develop with this tree. Because it doesn't bloom or shed dramatically, its changes are gradual. New leaves unfurling one at a time, older ones deepening in color. If you pay attention, you'll start to see those changes as a mirror of your own growth. When the tree is healthy, thriving, and balanced, It reflects a season of strength in your life. If it looks stressed or dull, it can be a subtle reminder to check in with the balance of your own routines. Imagine arriving home one evening just as the sun is dipping low. The light filters through the rubber fig's canopy, turning its leaves into a mosaic of gold and green. For a moment, the gate becomes more than just a physical entry. It's a threshold between the noise of the day and the quiet wealth of your own space. You step through, and it feels like the tree has just closed a door behind you, keeping the chaos out where it belongs. In a culture where everything moves faster than we can process, having something at your gate that says, "Slow down, breathe, you're safe now," is more than comfort. It's a strategy for living well. The rubber fig tree may not announce prosperity with bright colors or seasonal bursts, but it sustains it in a way that's often more valuable. It protects not just your home, but the clarity and peace that allow prosperity to grow and stay. The gentle guide palm. You notice the calm first, not in your head, but in your body. Because the palm doesn't shout, it teaches your breath to match the rhythm of its fronds. A slim, upright trunk rises like a clean line drawn against the day, and above it the canopy loosens the sky into soft movement, each leaflet catching light and letting it go again. Placed at your gate, a palm works the way a good host does. It opens the space, sets a welcoming tone, and makes sure what crosses the threshold arrives with grace. The effect is immediate. Street noise thins, glare turns to shimmer. The path into your life feels unblocked, like a hallway cleared just before important guests arrive. This is the palm's quiet genius. Its architecture is airflow. The trunk doesn't crowd, the crown doesn't smother. Everything about its shape says through, forward, come in. Walk toward it after a hard afternoon and notice how your pace changes without effort. The fronds lift the heat off your shoulders. The dappled shade paints your walkway with moving light. Even the shadows look lighter, patterned instead of heavy. In a neighborhood of tight schedules and tighter attention spans, that soft motion becomes a reset switch. You feel the churn of the outside world slow down before your key meets the lock. And because mood shapes choices, that small shift matters. Calmer arrival, clearer thinking, smarter money moves. Palms are honest about their role. They don't promise sudden windfalls. They calibrate the environment so good fortune can see the doorway, choose it, and keep choosing it. Set a pair on either side of your gate and the message is unmistakable. Order lives here, but not rigidity. Calm lives here, but not stillness. The entry reads wide even when the walkway is narrow because the eye reads vertical space as permission to proceed. That psychological green light is what your guests feel, your deliveries pick up on, your opportunities respond to. For placement, think corridor, not barricade. Give each palm room to draft the air. Enough distance so the fronds can move without scraping. Enough setback so the canopy frames the view instead of blocking it. Too close to the path, and you create a brush-by that steals grace from the moment. Too far and you lose the invitation, the gentle gesture that says, "This way." Aim for symmetry where you can, 2 sentinels guiding a clean line to the door. But don't be afraid of an intentional offset on tight lots. One palm slightly forward, the other set back. The crowns meeting over the center like hands joining to welcome you home. Maintenance is partnership, not labor. Keep the base clean and the soil well drained so the roots can breathe. Remove spent fronds before they crisp and droop into fatigue. Wash dust from the leaflets now and then so their light-catching work stays efficient. At night, a soft uplight at the trunk turns the whole canopy into a floating lantern, a subtle signal to opportunity that your door is both visible and cared for. In coastal air, the palms sway reeds like trust, flex without break, give without losing form, lessons you carry inside whether you mean to or not. In city heat, the light shade they cast reads like relief, a microclimate of you're almost there, right where you need it most. Choose a form that fits your life, not a postcard. If your entry is compact, a smaller, slower-growing variety keeps the welcome focused and the maintenance routine. If your frontage is wide, a taller, loftier crown writes "Arrival" in big letters you can see from down the block. Either way, avoid crowding the sightline from street to door. Prosperity prefers a clear approach. People do too. Watch how the palm choreographs arrivals. The way a neighbor slows to say hello because the space feels friendly. The way a client's shoulders drop before you even open the door. The way you, on a rushed morning, step out and just for a second, look up through the fronds and remember that pace is a choice. These are not small things. They are the soft edges that keep good days good and hard days from getting worse. Over months, they add up to steadier decisions, kinder timing, fewer missed cues, the quiet infrastructure of a prosperous life. And there's a deeper promise in their silhouette. A palm doesn't hoard light, it shares it. It filters, it doesn't block. It guides, it doesn't push. Stand beneath the canopy at golden hour and you'll see it clearly. The fronds comb the sun into fine strands and lay them along your walkway like a path you're meant to follow. That path is your cue to bring the outside version of yourself, the efficient one, the guarded one, down from a sprint to a walk. Wealth can find you when you're moving fast. It stays when you know how to arrive. The palm teaches arrival. If your gate has felt like a bottleneck, too stark, too exposed, too easily flooded by whatever the street sends your way, let a palm draw the first boundary, not a hard line, but a kind one. It says to the world, you're welcome here, but come in softly. And to you, this is home. Step in as the person you mean to be. Place it well, tend it simply, and watch how often good things make it to your door, and how naturally they cross the threshold and linger. The fortune vault fragrant dracena. Some plants whisper wealth. The fragrant dracena holds it. Standing at your gate, its trunk is firm and upright, swelling subtly at the base like a vault designed to store something priceless. You don't notice it shouting for attention. You notice its presence, steady, composed, and quietly aware of everything passing in and out. This is the plant of accumulation, of holding energy where it belongs and keeping it from leaking away. Unlike other trees that change their look often, the dracena's real magic is in its patience. It blooms only when it has matured, when conditions have been steady enough for long enough to warrant a sign. And when that bloom comes, it's more than decorative, it's a milestone. The small ivory flowers release a faint, sweet fragrance at night or in the early morning, just when the world is still enough for you to notice. The timing feels intentional, like the tree has chosen the quiet hours to announce that something important is about to shift. At your gate, the fortune vault doesn't just invite prosperity, it keeps it. Think about all the times money or opportunity has flowed into your life only to drift away again. The dracena's role is to anchor that flow. Its sturdy base is symbolic of a savings account you never forget to contribute to, a structure that grows slowly but surely. Each leaf that spirals upward is another layer of security, another reminder that real wealth isn't measured only by what arrives, but by what remains. The care it asks for is modest: light shade, moderate humidity, well-drained soil. Give it these and it will do the rest. In return, it offers you a sense of continuity. Over the months and years, it becomes part of the architecture of your fortune. Guests may admire its sleek form, but you'll know the deeper reason it's there. On days when deals close smoothly or unexpected opportunities show up, you might find yourself glancing at it, half smiling at the thought that your quiet vault is doing its work. And in the rare moments it blooms, pause, stand by it, breathe in that faint sweetness, and recognize it for what it is. A sign that your home's energy is aligned, your foundations are strong, and the path ahead is opening. The fragrant dracena doesn't just mark those moments, it helps create them. Its presence at your gate is a declaration that this is a place where wealth is not only welcomed, but preserved. The Wind Harmonizer bamboo. Some guardians stand their ground by resisting everything that comes their way. Bamboo does the opposite. It moves, it bends, and in that graceful give and take, it turns the rough edges of the world into something your home can live with. At your gate, bamboo doesn't act like a barrier. It acts like a translator, taking the restless energy from the street and reshaping it into something calm before it ever reaches your door. Its stalks rise straight but not rigid, each one spaced so that light and air can pass through easily. From a distance, the vertical lines look like a quiet fence, but as you get closer, you see the subtle sway, the way the entire grove shifts as one body without breaking. That motion is the first sign of its gift. Bamboo doesn't fight the wind, it works with it, turning force into flow. Stand near it on a breezy afternoon and listen. The sound is never sharp or jarring. It's a soft rustle, like the turning of pages in a book you love. That sound has a way of loosening knots in your chest, of reminding you that tension isn't the only response to pressure. You carry that reminder inside with you, and it changes the way you handle the rest of the day. Bamboo's harmony is contagious, slowing your reactions, sharpening your clarity, and giving you the kind of mental space where better choices are made. Planted at the gate, it also works visually to set the right tone. The filtered sunlight, the patterned shadows on your walkway, the gentle arch of the leaves, they signal that this is a place where the atmosphere is cared for. Guests read that without realizing it. So do opportunities. Spaces that feel harmonious tend to attract more of the same. Caring for bamboo is about balance. Don't let it grow so thick that it blocks light or airflow. Trim regularly so the stalks stay defined and the energy can move freely. Keep the base clean and free of debris, because clutter at the roots clutters the message your home sends to the world. The healthiest stands of bamboo are open enough for the wind to pass through, but close enough to hold a shared strength. In a storm, you'll see its true lesson. Other plants may lose branches or crack under pressure, but bamboo leans, sways, and stands back up when it's over. That resilience is wealth in another form, the kind that isn't just about having resources, but about staying standing when challenges come. At your gate, it tells a story without words. This home can adapt, endure, and still greet the day with grace. And perhaps that's the most valuable thing it offers. Prosperity isn't only about accumulation, it's about continuity. It's about creating a space that can welcome good fortune again and again because it remains balanced no matter what happens outside. The Wind Harmonizer makes that possible. Every time you pass it, you're reminded that strength doesn't always look like force, and that the softest approach can sometimes be the most unshakable. Part 3. Small ritual, big effect. Sometimes the smallest shift in your surroundings can change the way your entire home feels, and with it, the way you live inside it. The space at your gate isn't just a place you pass through. It's the first filter for every moment, mood, and opportunity that enters. Treating it with intention isn't about superstition. It's about influence. How you influence the energy you invite, the mindset you carry, and the way you set the stage for what happens next. The simplest ritual you can start today is this. Keep the area around your gate and its trees immaculately clear. No leaves left to decay at the base, no weeds choking the soil, no forgotten tools leaning against the trunk. A clean base isn't just for looks, it's a signal. It says this space is cared for, watched over, and ready to welcome what's good. Opportunities, like people, respond to that signal. Make it a habit to check the space every time you leave or return, not with a critical eye, but with the same care you'd give to straightening your own appearance before meeting someone important. If something feels off, a broken branch, a frond bent too low, address it right away. That immediacy builds momentum. It's the difference between letting small problems take root and showing that you guard the quality of your environment. Add a personal touch to the ritual by pairing it with a mental cue. Each time you walk through the gate, think a short phrase that centers you. I welcome what is good, or I keep what matters. You're not trying to conjure anything mystical, you're priming your mind to focus on what you value most. Over time, the repetition turns the action of entering or leaving into a moment of alignment, where your surroundings and your mindset match. Lighting can be part of the ritual too. A soft, warm glow in the evening transforms the gate from a dark threshold into a beacon. It helps guests feel expected, makes you feel safer arriving home after dark, and subtly extends the sense of welcome beyond daylight hours. Choose lighting that enhances the natural shape of your trees, casting shadows that add depth instead of glare that flattens everything out. Seasonal refreshes keep the space alive. Trim overgrowth in the spring, add fresh mulch in the summer, clear fallen leaves in the fall, and check for any damage after winter storms. These aren't chores. They are the upkeep of your home's first impression and its ongoing invitation to prosperity. Think of it as tending the lobby of your life. No matter how beautiful the rooms beyond, if the entry feels neglected, what's meant for you may hesitate at the door. Finally, remember that rituals are as much about consistency as they are about content. It's not enough to do it once when you're in the mood. Make it part of your routine, woven into the fabric of your day so it happens without strain. That steadiness is what the space and your own sense of abundance will respond to. Small as it may seem, the habit of keeping your gate clear, your trees cared for, and your mind focused as you pass through is a lever. It doesn't take force to move it, just intention. But the effect can be out of proportion to the effort, shaping not just how your home looks, but how ready it feels to hold everything good you've worked for. Every choice you make at your front gate is a message, one that speaks not just to neighbors or guests, but to the flow of your own life. The trees you choose, the way you place them, the care you give, and even the small rituals you keep, all combine into a single, unbroken conversation between your home and the world beyond it. What we've explored isn't magic in the sense of tricks or illusions. It's the science of influence, how environments shape thought, how thought shapes action, and how action shapes the results you see. When you place a guardian tree at your gate, you're doing more than filling a space. You're setting a tone. You're deciding that the first step into your life will be one of welcome, stability, and purpose. Each variety we've discussed holds a different role. The dwarf coconut preserving what you've earned, the freshwater mangrove marking moments of harmony, the rubber fig guarding your peace, the palm guiding arrivals with grace, the fragrant dracena storing wealth until it's ready to bloom, the bamboo softening life storms into something you can carry. Together they form more than landscaping. They create a threshold that's alive with intention. It's easy to underestimate these decisions because they are quiet. They don't announce themselves in headlines or make grand gestures, but quiet choices have a way of multiplying. A cleaner base around your trees leads to a calmer entry. A calmer entry leads to a clearer mind. A clearer mind sees opportunities faster, acts on them more wisely, and holds onto them longer. This is how the small becomes significant, increment by increment, habit by habit, moment by moment. So when you step through your gate tonight, pause. Notice what it says to you. Does it speak of welcome or of wear, of care or of neglect? If you listen closely, you'll hear whether it's aligned with the life you want. And if it's not, remember this: change doesn't have to be loud to be lasting. One thoughtful plant, one tended space, one intentional step at a time. That's how you invite prosperity not just to visit, but to stay.